the fact of the matter is, this man is using this crisis to cancel all oil leases. But it's not stopping the foreign nations drilling in the Gulf of Mexico from England, Russia, Cuba, China, Spain, Norway, India, Malaysia, Venezuela, Vietnam, and Brazil. They're pumping oil. They're drilling. How come they didn't have a blowout? How come none of their rigs blew up? Anyone ask that question? Why this one, the only one that we know of so far, wouldn't be the only American rig in the Gulf, certainly, but it blew up, and it's an American-owned one. And only Americans are banned from drilling offshore, right? So now he says planned oil exploration in that region and off the Atlantic coast will be canceled and a 6-month moratorium be placed on it. And he immediately launches into the corrupt green economy that he's been pushing from before he was pushed into the White House by the green gonifs. Okay? So now let's go to the next question of merit. The first was Jake Tapper, who, as I said, will not be doing too much tapping at the White House door after this. And I want you to listen to something. I'm an expert at listening. You know, there are handwriting experts. There are voice recognition experts. I am an expert at listening to people speak. And I heard Jake Tapper's trepidations, by the way, because this guy knew that not only was his credibility on the line, but in many ways his accessibility was on the line. A very, very, very high tightrope to walk on. Now you're going to hear a couple of others on the Savage Nation, the next being this from this morning when Chip Reed asks about the resignation of one of the officials who was corrupt. And how he asks it, you're going to see that Chip Reed is showing for the first time that he's no cookie. Roll.
First of all, Elizabeth Birnbaum resigned today. Did she resign? Was she fired? Was she forced out? And if so, why? And should other heads roll as we go on here? Secondly, with regard to the Minerals Management Service, Secretary Salazar yesterday basically blamed the Bush administration for the cozy relationship there, and you seemed to suggest that when you spoke in the Rose Garden a few weeks ago when you said for too long, a decade or more, most of those years, of course, the Bush administration, there's been a cozy relationship between the oil companies and the federal agency that permits them to drill. But you knew as soon as you came in, and Secretary Salazar did, about this cozy relationship, but you continued to give permits, some of them under questionable circumstances. Is it fair to blame the Bush administration? Don't you deserve some of that?
Well, let me just make...
Hold on, no, don't play his answer yet. Don't play Speedo's answer yet. Do me a favor. Speedo had the answer right. It almost sounded like the beginning to boom, boom. The Speedo, could you play Speedo for 1 second? I swear to God. While you're looking for Speedo, just play the opening of Obama making it sound like he's about to play Speedo. Just for a minute. I'm playing a little.
Let me just make the
all right, hold on. You heard that? Now find Speedo. The wrong. Oh, they're quick on. All right, let's not have any more fun here. We're having too much fun. They even picked up the wrong song. It sounded like you're playing organ music from a bad funeral. Do you have it yet or don't you? Okay, so that's the opening to Speedo. That's all I want to hear. Now go back to Obama's beginning.
Well, let me just make...
Oh, my God. You see what I'm talking about, my ears? I have the best ears in radio. I told you that. All right, so let's get serious for a minute. You know that I like to goof around because there's only so much pressure you can take and I can take. So Chocolate Chip Reed shows he's no cookie, and he asks really hard questions. And then Mr. Obama says the following.
Well, let me just make the point that I made earlier, which is Salazar came in and started cleaning house, but the culture had not fully changed in MMS. And
Let's stop right for a minute. Did you hear that again? Did you hear the slippery answer? Did you hear that? The first answer, the other one was we're not perfect. The next answer is he came in and he cleaned house, but he's not perfect. Did you catch that one? Now, Obama promised us perfection, by the way. Do you remember that? He was going to come in. He was going to do a line item veto. There'd be no business as usual. He was going to clean everything up. Meanwhile, he's at a fundraiser at the Getty's house the other night, an oil family, raising money for the most incompetent senator in American history. You call people carpetbaggers. It doesn't even apply to Barbara Boxer. I was laying in bed at 4:30 this morning. I said, what other phrase could use other than carpetbagger? The only other phrase I thought was a seltzer truck, a seltzer bottle. But it doesn't translate. You know where the word carpetbag came from, when a senator or a congressman or a politician went from one district to the other, in other words, applying their trade, which is older than that of prostitution. They were said to do so carrying their carpet bags, meaning their suitcases. So they would call someone who moved in from another area a carpetbagger. That's where it came from. So I affectionately call Barbara Boxer a seltzer bottle because in my mind, she's really the senator from Brooklyn, not the senator from California. Now let's go on to the next story here. The next story is even worse, and I was holding this for another time. So he's on the ropes. He's taking one heavy question after the other, one after the other, roll after roll, bang, boom, bing, bum, and he's starting to look real. His eyes are shifting. He's looking down. He's like the kid who got caught in high school after getting in on a scholarship. They found that he forged the transcripts from junior high, and they caught him finally, and they didn't want to believe it. They finally say, but here's the evidence. You're incompetent. Not only did you not do anything you said you would do, sir, but you're incompetent. You can't do anything right. And, again, shifting, blaming, he did it, they did it, we're responsible, I'm not perfect, the ocean's sacred. Every trick in in Oil Can Harry's book was used today. So he turns to his old faithful, Helen Thomas, who, as I said, was covering the White House during Lincoln's tenure. They went to the crypt and they rolled her out, and they gave her some special fluids for this press conference in order to save Obama's skin. And he asks her a question, figuring she'd come up with one of her stupid, inane questions and everyone would laugh. There'd be comic relief. I would have done the same thing if I were him. And boom, here's what she does.
President, when are you going to get out of Afghanistan? Why are you continuing to kill and die there? What is the real excuse? And don't give us this Bushism. If we don't go there, they'll all come here.
Al-Qaeda has affiliates.
Whoa, wait. Don't give us this Bushism. I actually thought she said, don't give me this bull something else. I didn't hear Bushism. It just shows you what I thought she said something else with BS in it. I didn't know that the BS she was referring to was BUSH. I thought it was some other BS. No, but I heard her say, don't give me the BS. I said, help me God. I would play it again. Listen to this.
President, when are you going to get out of Afghanistan? Why are you continuing to kill and die there? What is the real excuse? And don't give us this Bushism. If we don't go there, they'll all come here.
All right, don't give the answer yet. So that actually was out of place, but nevertheless super important because no one's asked it yet. I've asked it for over 2 years. Why are we in Afghanistan? Now, don't confuse me with a neocon, by the way. Make no mistake about it. Michael Savage is not a neocon. Michael Savage is a real con. That means a real conservative. You can play with the words if you want. I just got your attention, didn't I? I am not a neocon. I never was a neocon. And I don't believe we should be in Afghanistan, incidentally. I see no reason for us to be there. I have no idea why we're there. No idea whatsoever. The only reason I can figure out makes no sense anyway, and I want to talk about it. So she asked the question I might have asked if I were there, but I wasn't there. So she did a job. In other words, that a certain portion of the American people would have asked, would have liked to have heard. So for the first time, we actually felt like we were living in a democracy again instead of in Venezuela. For the first time since the interloper took over the White House, I felt as though I had America back instead of living in Venezuela with Chavez making a mockery of a free press. It was a crowning, I tell you the truth, I feel invigorated again. I feel like I can go on. I feel as though there is hope for America because I've told you 1,000 times on this show that when the fourth estate becomes the fifth column, it's all over. It's the road to extinction. It's the road to the extinction of freedom. And I think they know it. Now, whether they were doing it for the betterment of the nation or to save their own credibility or for both reasons, I don't know. But it happened. The dam broke. And this guy can't get away with his lies the way he was getting away with them yesterday. Now, what's coming next, not on the show today because I got plenty of more coming. What's coming next is the questions about why the hell he's not going to Arlington National Cemetery over the weekend, why he is disrespecting the Gold Star families, and why he's leaving tonight for Chicago. It's unheard of. Nobody can understand this. It's a political mistake of the highest order. Now, we talked about it yesterday. We said that Obama's brain is at a bar mitzvah in Jerusalem, and therefore he's making some mistakes. But, you know, he's only a BlackBerry away, for God's sakes. That doesn't seem to be the answer. But I don't want to go into that question again. I want to stay focused today on on Obama's Katrina and the fact that he has gone from the Gulf to the Gettys, and the oily tracks run all the way around the world.
Savage.